Alrighty, and we're back. A quick little break. Just go ahead and get a little breather, grab some water before we dive into our final matchup here in Group B. We've got the Seoul Infernal coming in as the #1 seed in this matchup versus the Dallas Fuel, who battle their way through the lower bracket. See who is going to be our second representative alongside the Hangzhou Spark over at Midseason Madness here in Seoul.
Yeah, and dude, Dallas Field, they've been impressing. They've been gaining strength over the course of the knockouts, over the course of the entire season so far. Started things off super shaky. The Seoul Infernal, you can make some similar arguments there. They definitely started out shaky versus Seoul Dynasty in the Seoul Bowl, but Seoul Infernal have gotten themselves into the #1 position as far as power ranking goes. No, they did not get the #1 seed. Maybe that's for the better because they ended up getting better seeding as the second seed somehow. But now they have to go up against the Dallas Fuel, who they did beat 3-1 a little bit earlier on in the upper bracket final. Can they do it again now that we're playing a first-to-4 format?
Well, the Dallas Fuel, they're looking to regain their former glory from last year as the defending champions. We know what to expect from the starting five, but we'll take a closer look at the roster.
Too quickly, too selective. Ungodly connection there with the Rampage, and Harpy, he's come up with the goods again. The fielder goes down. It's going to be Sal Murray ready for 4 points. Michael's down. Went free. The Dallas Fuel Overwatch League champions.
It's been a long road with some ups and downs, certainly throughout. I mean, we saw the horrendous start, frankly, and let's just throw it out there, for the Dallas Fuel at the beginning of the season, but they've been able to run it back, and now they get themselves here into a first-of-4 series versus Seoul Infernal to see if they can continue to regain that glory.
Speaking of glory, I think Bliss got a lot of that glory yesterday as well,
yeah.
Sneaking away with 14 final blows in the final map versus O2 Blast and Esperanza as a Lucio. I mean, you don't see that every day. That was a moment to behold, a legendary performance that you will now have to look to doing again if he can, versus, I would say, not a much better opponent, but certainly a better opponent, given that Seoul Infernal did beat the O2 Blast squad as well. But if you want to look at map scores, Dallas Fuel did it in a shorter amount of maps, in a short amount of time, 3-1 instead of a 3-2. And Harbin, as always, had an incredible performance on that Diva. Dallas Fuel, when they're at their best, playing their best heroes, playing the best comps, they look like they can compete with the best.
Yeah, I mean, Sparkle as well. A day out from him when he was playing that May in particular was absolutely impactful. Every single wall, every single blizzard was finding value. But we also saw Edison, who was one of those players that had one of the rockier starts for this team at the beginning of the year, have a very strong performance as well. So if that form of Dallas Fuel comes back in, then the Seoul Infernal certainly going to have their work cut out for them. Obviously, just given the name, given the location for Midseason Madness, there's, I think, a bit more riding on the shoulders of the Infernal because they don't want to be the namesake team not competing within their own city in international competition for pretty much the first time here in Overwatch League. Obviously, we had the finals in 2020 over here, but that didn't have a crowd. It did not have that local fan base cheering for them. That's what they want. We'll see if they're going to be able to persevere, because Fuel definitely do not want to back down without a fight. Both of these teams have so much they're playing for, aside from just the spot at Midseason Madness.
I think in either case, though, whether it's Seoul Infernal or Dallas Fuel, they will get the full Korean squad in Seoul, in Kintex, to at least represent the home crowd in some fashion. But I do say, if it's got to be one team from the fan perspective, Seoul Infernal, they have Seoul in the name, and here they are. There it is, Seth. The Seoul Infernal. They have only lost a single match so far this entire year. It was the opening game versus Seoul Dynasty in the Seoul. It was a 2-3 loss as well. Very close. Went to map 5. A very tragic loss on map 5 as well. They're actually up 99-0 almost both of the rounds they end up losing. But since then, man, it's been lights out. A bunch of 3-0s in there. A couple of 3-2s. 3-2 versus the Guangzhou Charge. 3-2 versus the O2 Blast. 3-1 versus Dallas. 3-0 Hangzhou Spark. 3-0 Dallas in the regular season. 3-0 Shanghai. So the record has been pretty flawless, man. 6-1 in terms of matches. 20-8 in terms of maps.
Oh, Seoul fan, or yeah, well, so I keep saying Seoul fans, and my brain's like, wait, no, I have to say Infernal because there's another team, but not in this fight. The Infernal fans there in the audience showing support, wanting them to be able to make it through so they can watch them in an even larger venue alongside the rest of the teams. But here is, of course, our starting 5. And Mag has been one of those players that, you know, after a stint of Injustice, people start sleeping on him. And I think there was, you know, it was, not to make a pun, justified. But here, coming back in to this roster, they have really been able to utilize him and set him up for success. And we're seeing the Mag that was kind of promised when he was joining the Overwatch League. We saw this guy years ago in Contenders, and it has been a very solid upward trajectory for him since joining this team.
I think we're seeing a lot of the ex-Justice players kind of getting that turnaround now. Decay having a much better season. Opener and O2 Blast as well. Some great performances there despite losing to the Dallas Fuel. And now Mag, as you've talked about, coming into what I'm calling as Renaissance year, right? The kind of performance that we hoped that he would bring coming out of his runaway rookie years. Or rather, his runaway year into his rookie year in the Overwatch League. But this matchup is very interesting because I think Seoul Infernal and Dallas Fuel are kind of diametrically opposed in terms of strengths. Obviously on the tank line as well, but even in terms of where the strengths lie on the other positions, we're taking a look at tracer stats between Zest and Sparkle. I don't think it's any real surprise that Zest is going to have better tracer stats. Not by a huge margin, actually. You would have maybe given the reputations, imagine that Zest was going to have way better stats, but Sparkle's been competitive, and Sparkle's been fairly slept on Tracer. He's certainly improved a lot on Tracer over the past few years. I think a lot of people still kind of using the reputation from Sparkle's 2021 year on Tracer, where that was kind of his learning year on Tracer, to still kind of imagine his performance, whereas now in 2023, he's a lot more competitive. However, the edge you would still give to Zest, the edge you would still give to the DPS line of the Seoul Infernal in general, as far as dive goes. Which is why we talk about the styles of the teams, the strength of the teams individually as players, but as the teams itself as well, being fairly opposed. Dallas like their brawl, and Infernal, they like their dive.
Oh, we're going to be heading over to Ilios, see what they have cooked up for us, but I'm right there with you as far as the just kind of style opposition. I'm excited to see how this goes, and I think that because they are so opposed, it's going to make these map picks so much more important. Try to offset your opponent, put them on something that's going to be uncomfortable. Now, we'll point out, obviously, 2 Korean teams. Everybody's here in Korea. No one's in the crowd, or no one's on stage, because I suspect that there's going to be some questions about this one. Just given the way that this format has worked, you don't know if you're going to be playing on stage. You don't know who your opponent's going to be. It's a lot less complicated to try to get them, get them on stage with very short notice. So they are going to be playing from home, but obviously they're fighting for that chance to be over at Kintex, to be out in front of the crowd.
That's the thing, right? Somebody will eventually get out in the crowd when it comes to Kintex time. But for now, playing from the various facilities,
Mag on the ball.
Seoul Infernal have a lot of pressure on their backs, and this is the other thing, right? This is a hero that's basically impossible for Dallas Fuel to play, and it's a Mag special. I don't think any other tank in APAC currently, or even in the West, are playing any ball, but Mags, he's bringing out the ball. He doesn't care.
I think maybe we've seen Marvel play it once or twice, but it's been pretty few and far in between. But yeah, Mag, with any regularity, certainly got to be the only one. Edison already...
I think Marvel just a touch. Like, he'll do it just to, like, kind of do a final contest, but not as an actual hero you roll out on.
Sure. Well, for now, no real commit on any fight here. Edison is going to be sticking through with that Widowmaker M3, obviously, on that Ashe. Play a bit more at mid-range, but Sparkle already getting in on top of Fix and finds that first kill. Hanbin going to be broken out of the mech, however, but yeah, no lamp for himself. That definitely seems a bit puzzling. Hanbin does get finished off. Cest able to go ahead and confirm the kill there onto the Baby Diva. Smag looks to harass around the backside. Has to be respectful of these Discord orbs, though. Can make things a bit troublesome for him, so he's going to roll over, try to grab that health back. In the meantime, Sparkle inches his way down onto the point, denies the cap from coming through, so still no one taking control quite just yet, as M3 was also killed off.
I mean, that Sparkle's doing his best leave impression here. He gets both of the supports, Skewed and Fixer. And it does pay to mind that it's double flex support here. Zen
Mag.
and Bap at the same time, and it relies a lot upon Fixer to save his teammates. And you talked about Mag, he is very far forward, and obviously he's not going to get a lot of help there, especially given that his supports are still respawning. It's a bit of an awkward start for Seoul Infernal. You would have said early on, okay, Fixer dying, but you trade Harbin. That's a pretty worthy trade. You take that if you're Infernal, but then you lose Skewed as well, and then it's like, okay, that's now a little bit too awkward. You can't lose both your supports. One is okay.
Mag gonna be taking a nap somewhere, gets antied out, and will get burned down. And make it over the Mega Pack, but the anti was still there all the same. Skewed as well. Headshot. Edison finding a nice elimination. And that's gonna be Dallas Fuel maintaining control already at 35%.
I mean, the crazy thing about this comp is, you know, MN3 gets outranged by Edison here, and at some point I imagine MN3 might look to swap over towards the Widow as well. Perhaps he wasn't expecting Edison to start on the Widow here. But consider that Dallas Fuel's comp doesn't even include a Sombra. It's Bliss on the Ana, who's not even the primary Ana for this team, but just having a good enough Ana. And Bliss has had a history of Ana playing on Ultra Blast as well, mind you, in contenders. He's not shying away from that hero, but it's enough to shut down Mag, asleep into a Bionade, and Mag's in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, between that and the Discord orbs, really makes it dangerous for him. Recall going to be used by both these tracers. That's still down a little bit low, as the Nana goes across over to Hyman on the opposite side of the map. Reveal comes in for sight, up for Medicine. Zest dashing away. It's a lot of respect being shown here. I mean, necessary respect, I should say, as Edison gets that headshot, takes out Zest, and Infernal, they don't even have a single bit of percentage right now. Pulse Bomb going to be lobbed in. Sparkle unable to find the stick. MN3 does live to find another day, but pretty soon they have to commit something here to this point.
I mean, 3 of the players on Infernal didn't even have ultimates at the 80% mark. MN3 only just gets the Bob now, but he gets at around 88, 89. It's so late for these ultimates on the Infernal. The Bob comes through to contest. Should be on the point, but we don't know where it is, actually.
Forced to grapple, the pile driver does go in, but the minefield not in position to try to find Edison. Somehow Bliss ends up getting knocked into it, though. The Mag now, it seems like his sole duty is to just go ahead and take down this Widowmaker. Still gets a pot shot there across on the Skewed. It's not going to be the elimination. He finally will be able to find him, but it's 99% here for the side of the Fuel.
It's a lot of trust given over to the rest of the team. Okay, you guys have to do this 4v4, I guess, because I'm in a 1v1 with Edison. You got no tank. Just go for that one. And Harbin even gotten out. Did he get out into play? I don't know. But that might have happened a while ago, actually, so I'm misremembering. But the Bob came through that fight, I guess. That's your extra tank. So you don't have Mag, but you do at least have a Bob. That was the gameplay.
Yeah, see? They're actually 6v5 at the end of it once the Bob comes into play.
Yeah, he had a 1v1 and a 5v4 on the point.
They could do the dueling Zenyatas here, perhaps. Both of them do have these ults available. Sparkle would be a bit faster towards this second pulse bomb, it would seem. About a 10% stretch in lead, 15 actually, over top of Zest. So now they're just skirmishing out around the pillars on the flank, but Zest actually catches him. Well, hairline catch gets him with a melee hit. Now MCD just going to get pounded into oblivion as Mag arrives as well. Zest sets up for the final kill onto Bliss. Good hold. They're halfway there, but Infernal still have to try to push this all the way up to 100.
I mean, that's the kind of cheap fight you want as Infernal, because when you're down 0-99, usually what happens as the 0-99 team is you're forced to use a lot of ultimates along the way, and eventually you get to a pivotal point where the winning team that has the 99 just overpowers you with ult advantage. Because Zest can just sort of dive on the back line, Mag connects onto the second support, they take both down, who, by the way, MC and Bliss both have ultimates. So Infernal get that one without spending anything, and they can keep up, they can maintain parity with the ult charge of the Dallas Fuel.
EMP nearly here for Edison, 10% off the mark. Anti does go in, but not before Mag sent Bliss flying. The sleep dart from beyond the grave, but unfortunately doesn't set up for anything, so the tank is still going to be here. It's still now going to be a 5v4. MN3 under a little bit of fire. They push into the side. Amp Matrix comes in from Fixer, trying to shove them back, and Hamden's going to be broken into the mech and dealt with. Now, 94% here for the side of the Infernal. Pulse bomb out from Zest. Not going to be finding a kill, but they're without a tank, and MN3 gets a headshot on MCD. We're watching Edison. He's trying to set up for the EMP. He will be able to get skewed, but no one's going to be able to touch. And it feels like somehow the Infernal stole this round away.
I mean, the tempo change was huge. Once Seoul Infernal actually had control of the point, and they were the ones assaulting Dallas Fuel on their rotations towards the point. And by the way, at the end there, we saw Sparkle try and blink towards the point, just a little bit too late. Not gonna really call C9 there, because I think Dallas were on the losing end anyway. They were already 2 members down. There was like 3v5. Pretty rough stuff. But you look at this, right? This is the kind of tempo play that you want to see. He just gets a solo kill onto Sparkle, transfers over towards, who is it, MCD, super low HP. The Matrix comes on through. Good save from Harbin, but Matrix will not save them from a pile drive on Mag, and the connection of those two players coming through together is exactly what you want on the neutral plays from Seoul Infernal. Once ultimates are out of the picture, and once Dallas Fuel no longer have control of the point, that enables Seoul Infernal to get so much pick potential, and that puts Dallas Fuel in a really odd spot. Sparkle wants to play the Echo here, which is standard. I think you do want to play Echo, generally speaking, on Lighthouse. However, Zest is not opted for it in M3. He's read the play correctly. He's like, I'm going to play the Ashe into the Echo.
Yep. See if we can take him out of the sky nice and early here, and also keep our eyes on Mag and see how he fares, because I suspect that Hanbin should have the upper hand. This should be a lot more comfortable territory for the Fuel with him on the Diva.
Mag, not known for Diva.
Certainly not.
Just to be clear.
Ryan, Winston, ball, sure. But already, Fuel, they do go ahead, keep Infernal at arm's length, so for initial cap is going to be theirs. Zest trying to pressure out Blizz, with the help of the MN3 of the Dynamite, they will be able to take him down. Sparkle now, or rather Edison, I should say, as he swapped over to the Tracer. Looks to keep it contested, but it's going to be a very fast flip this time for the Infernal, as Mag will be taken out of the mech.
That was like the poor man's rampage there. Dynamite and Byron, and you are still taking down. You can't get healed. And eventually you take down to death. Hanbin will get traded, so no mech on either side.
Scooter will find him. And Hanbin limited. Mag still needing to pistol his way back in. 60% of the way there. Could die in the blink of an eye, so they need to try to keep him protected at this point.
Much better.
Right, and that 14% easily overtaken now by the Seoul Infernal. We're still waiting for ultimates to come online. For Dallas Fuel kind of losing these fights, MCD is well and truly ahead of Skewed, so that will be an important nano. You'd think it'd probably go into Sparkle, actually. Hanbin or Sparkle, unless Bliss is in trouble. You won't want to see it on Bliss just because this should be offensively applied, and is because it's so far ahead of Skewed, MCD should look for it sooner rather than later.
Unless that Pulse Bomb does come through, but Edison going to be the first one taken down. Drop onto the low ground here. Sparkle trying to contest them, but is instantly greeted by some Dynamite. Will receive some healing. The Beam looking for a target. Has to cancel it, knowing that MN3 is around the backside. But some good damage down onto the Ashe. Cannot confirm the kill. Goes right back up into the skies. The Pulse does come through. Bliss is going to be taken down. The Nano obviously burned before. It's not there to try to save his life. Bleed out. Another member gone. 62% established here for the side of the Infernal. We're just looking to close this round, close this map nice and easy with a 2-0.
Sparkle just couldn't find targets. I mean, it is... Actually, he did find targets, but they were all huddled up together into the side room without backers. No low HP targets. Sparkle went towards the focusing being super early and just couldn't find anybody. Meanwhile, Seoul Infernal, they didn't really have to spend too much. Zest, I think, popped an extra pulse bomb in there. They mostly got that one through just on pure mechanics alone. Just these individual picks, the individual pressure. So strong, and that continues all the way to 99 as Seoul Infernal forcing final fight, and Dallas Fuel, they got to step in.
Man up from Skewed goes over to MN3. They knock Hanbin up into the air. Self-destruct at the ready. The Bob will get taken down. Rally rolling. Skewed still going to be pressured out. Sparkle able to find that elimination. Now goes for the duplicate. Gets a copy onto the Brigida. Wants to just be able to try to build up for an extra rally here in the fight, which they need to win out. It's 99%. Mag taken down. Doesn't use the self-destruct. Seems like given that Fixer was gone, decides to opt to save it for a follow-up.
What a save. I thought Hanbin might have actually potentially gone down to the Bob there, but might have broken out of the waste with his own bomb. But that is one way, certainly, to get rid of the Bob. MCD, by the way, is just about left Skewed now. That's MCD's, I think, third nano coming online. Skewed just used his second, so one full nano ahead. That's something MCD's done quite well so far on this map. A lot more healing done than Skewed has. But will it be enough? Because Seoul Infernal still lead 99% to just the 40 of Fuel, and Fuel don't have any other ultimates to play with. MN3 now on the Sombra.
So we might be able to get a nano bailout. Anti on the 2, MN3 going to be taken low, does manage to get out of there, and Zest weaves that pulse bomb through the D-Matrix, finds Hanbin, breaks him out of the max.
Sparkle slapped.
Maybe even there, once again, Sparkle going to be nanoed up, goes down to a sliver of HP, pressure coming in from Mag, just trying to displace him, but the healing is just pumping through. They do actually manage to connect the anti, and that's going to be good enough. Skewed, he'll get that, denies the healing, gets the kill as well to boot. Massive play from him. Remech comes in, gets the crush in onto Zest. Absolutely swatted by Hanbin. Edison now just hounds down Fixer, finds the elimination. Pulse Bomb still going to be held in his back pocket. MCD going to be taken down to the back end of the fight. Mag able to find one, still holds on to the self-destruct, and Hanbin's going to be demech, so this is still going to be a decent position here for the Infernal. Yes, they are allowing for the Fuel to get closer and closer. It's up to 82%, but they could just be able to retake it right here. The Nano now going to be invested. Mag rushing forward, looks to zone them back away from the point where the flip is getting ready to come through.
MN3 holding that one above the heads of the Dallas Fuel, and we are into official final fight once again. Edison's dead. Enables a touch, though, at least.
But now the rally going to be canceled. The EMP comes through, shuts that one down. They find the kill. Sparkle taken out of the sky. It looks like the Infernal will be able to close it. Just a second too late as Hanbin, but even then, I think they'd lost too many members. The Seoul Infernal will take the first map. Ilios is theirs.
And it doesn't seem like, you know, with too much effort either. Sure, I think Ruins was much harder than Lighthouse was. That was actually required to be a comeback from the Seoul Infernal, but once Seoul Infernal actually had control of the point, they barely had to spend ultimates. It ran around, finding picks individually. Zest getting solo plays onto Sparkle, all the rest that we saw on that map, and then you move over towards Lighthouse, and it's just a very strong start from the Seoul Infernal. They hit the 99 first. Dallas Fuel end up having to be the ones on the comeback. They play the more standard combos, so I actually think Dallas Fuel, if you look at pure meta strategy, Diva Sparkle, sorry, from Buckle and the Echo is very standard for Lighthouse. Seoul Infernal were closer to playing off better with the Ashe, but they made it work. They didn't have to go towards their own Echo at all. Keep Zest on the Tracer, that was strong. Edison's not going to be as competitive on the Tracer compared to Zest. I mean, Sparkle already probably struggles a little bit versus Zest, but Sparkle did not have much pressure at all coming through in terms of his own impact on that Echo. He was shut down a lot, had to avoid the damage from MN3, and beyond that, it's all hacked out, slept out. You know, we see MCD just pop the nanos on Sparkle. I think Sparkle's received pretty much every single nano, and at least one or two of them, Skew just sleep Sparkle out. Sparkle can't do anything with it.
Well, first blood drawn here by the Seoul Infernal. One step closer to punching the ticket. Dallas Fuel, though, will have map pick as we get ready to go into hybrids to see what they decide to opt for. Maybe set up Hanbin, try to offset Mag just a little bit more. See, though, as we take a quick little break, we will return, so do not go anywhere. The action continues in just a few minutes. We are back in just one map into this final here of Group B to see which team is going to be going over to Midseason Madness, joining the Hangzhou Spark, who just recently confirmed their slot. Seoul Infernal able to take the first map of Ilios for themselves. Now onus is on the Dallas Fuel to see whether or not they can even up the score.
2-0, man. It is a little bit rough, especially Lighthouse, and again, Ruins was much closer, but that was mostly off the back of Dallas Fuel's early pressure and the early lead and momentum they had. On Seoul Infernal turned that around and got the cap, they never really let go of it. That's Fuel gonna have to do a lot more going to the next map. It is their map choice now, heading into map number 2. If I'm not mistaken, Ilios probably was Seoul Infernals, given that they are the higher seed. That would make a lot of sense. As far as Dallas goes now, I think Blizzard World should be, I mean, given how good they were on Blizzard World yesterday. Did they play that yesterday? I have to double check really quickly, just my memory. Yeah, they did. Given how good they were on Blizzard World yesterday, I think that's got to be the choice, you know? Harbin, as we can see him, hands and face and hands at the moment as he's just getting ready. I swear he's not crying or anything, it's fine. He's just getting ready as the Diva's got to come back out. I think the Diva's got to come back out for Blizzard World. I know he played the Diva on Ilios, but play it again.
My concern there is we'll take a look at MN3's Ashe stats, which he didn't play the entire time, for the most part. My concern with Blizzard World is, at least on attack, you do open up for Mag to continue to play that Wrecking Ball. So that's something that, at least for point A, something that could come back to bite them if they opt to go there once again.
What? People would tell you Wrecking Ball is not meta. Mag will say, I don't care. So, let's see how that sort of works. You'd really like to see, because it will be double, if they go Blizzard World, they play Diva again, it'll be double flex support, probably Bliss back on the Ana, it's fine. Okay, it is Blizzard World.
Okay.
I think it's the right choice. I think it's the one you want to go to. Play towards Harbin's strengths here. Play towards what Dallas Fuel were good at yesterday versus O2. Blizzard World, up on the cards. After this, Rialto would probably be next. You know, this is, if Dallas Fuel had the perfect map drafting and it was all their picks, you'd want Blizzard World into Rialto 100%. Because you definitely don't want to play ball on Rialto. Here, I think you will play ball. So you have to understand the Seoul Infernal, like you sort of mentioned, Mag, will favor the ball here. Do you play the Sombra? Is it time to bring out the Edison Sombra again? Because yesterday, I believe he was still playing more Hanzo on this map, whereas I think if you know Mag is playing ball, you got to go Ana Sombra, surely.
And a few times that we were seeing him playing Sombra yesterday, it was looking good, you know? It was one of those things where it's like, okay, he's stepping up, he's finding value. So it was a trend in the right direction, which is what you, as a Fuel fan, need to see, given that Doha isn't here. But maybe that does come through. Maybe he will have to swap. We'll have to just wait and find out. First, it's going to be Infernal on the defense, Fuel on the attack. So see if Mag wants to play a cheeky ball, and so far it's looking like he does.
There it is. Yeah, I think everything as normal here. Edison locking the Sombra early. That will be the official lock-in. Sparkle will most likely go towards the Tracer. That's what you want. You want all the things that kind of counter the ball. You have the sleeps, you have the hacks, you have Tracer that can actually run down the ball. Everything you really want. Hope for. Infernal not going to be caught out by this at all. MN3 is going to stay on his signature, because I think most of the teams, if you were going to play a long-range hero, you'd probably look towards the Hanzo, but MN3's signature is absolutely the Ashe. If he can play Ashe, he'll go for it.
There was a little puzzling there as Sparkle was delayed swapping over to Tracer. I thought for a second he was actually going to come out the gate with the Widowmaker, but it does go over to this, so a lot more expected. Zest, however, already farming, 44%. That's pretty damn good. Skewed under a little bit of fire. He will be able to get top back up, though.
Who was even shooting? Must have been shooting Harbin, you have to imagine.
Yeah.
Bliss on 49, so you're trading pulse bomb damage for Bliss's nano at this point as
Edison.
Okay, Edison goes down on 1 HP. That would have been really bad for Edison, losing his setup.
Okay, well, kind of baits out the dynamite there, so Bliss dropping to the low ground. Takes that away from them. Ball wrapping around from behind here is Mag. It's just going low again, but now Pulse Bomb at the ready. 1 minute build time. Very swiftly done. The D-Matrix is preset to absorb that.
I think defensive ball's a little weird, and as you mentioned, the D-Matrix in time, Harbin, way too sharp. He absorbed plenty of Pulse Bombs yesterday on the same map. There you go. Okay. Yeah. Where are you going to do the dives here? Because Mag has to find some value on this ball in the defense, and the map doesn't open until B.
Yeah, like I said, I could see it on the attack. I didn't necessarily anticipate it here on the defense. For now, though, halfway to that first tick coming through is the Fuel. 2 minutes 24 remaining. Nano at the ready. Sleep goes in.
Punished.
Mag gonna be shut down. Sparkle turning his sights over towards that vault. Doesn't even need to use the pulse bomb to try to find the elimination, as Hanbin's gonna be recipient of this nano boost. Pushes forward, puts a hell of a lot of damage down onto the likes of Skewed. Now needs to back away. 1 tick and a half now gonna be established here for the fuel. They should be able to make it 2, but Mag is gonna be making his way back over rather quickly. The EMP at the ready could be devastating.
Sees the back line.
Pulse into the back line. MCD dead, and that should be Edison holding onto the CMP now.
Yeah, well, he's just waited too long, unfortunately. Infernal, they walk on forward. If Edison doesn't strike, the Seoul Infernal going to make this happen. I think it was the extra rally, perhaps, that warded Edison off. He's thinking, I could probably wait for this rally to go over. Wait for it to, you know, be expended first. Edison, I do got to say, despite not using the EMP, he doesn't decloak, he doesn't reveal his positioning. That allows him to set up for the EMP now for the final tick. Dallas 2 will get the 2 ticks, which is important. The Seoul Infernal, because all they lost was Mag, and it's a very fast hero, they can get a quite quick retake, which they do.
Almost Skewed as Johnny on the spot with this Transcendence as well. The EMP might not be able to find too much value. Just wait and see, but now there's a Bob. The minefield about to be online as well for some further delay and clear out the point.
He needs this corner. This corner where the 2 supports and M3 out, that's where he's got EMP. And Fixer is very heavily spy checking around him because he's just swinging that makes around.
Waiting for it. Sends it out. Transcendence is on point. And
that miss?
I think it might have hit.
Mag got caught.
I think it would have hit Skewed, but then he just used the trans, so it doesn't matter. Either way, we get through one of the ultimates. There's still 4 more to try to chew through. The pulse bomb and a minefield. See if they can get it done. Nano again invested on the Han, but he charges up onto the high ground. Picks up. Trying to deal with Edison in the back line. MN3 going to be hounded down, but just gets the pulse across. Does manage to find Bliss. Come up from Sparkle. Not going to be getting too much value there. A smattering of damage as MCD tries to take the Zen fight, but he very swiftly loses out on it. Skewed finds that kill, but it's going to be a support for a support. Bliss now running back on the Lucio, looking to join in. Nearly there.
Really important 2-piece there.
Pile driver dropped in. Mag is just so very low. Sparkle's going to be able to hound him down. It seems like the fuel should be able to get this cap at the very end. The last second touch in from MN3 on that Sombra, but he's got to exit. So the cap is there all the same with a couple seconds to spare.
Yeah, Mag coming in and getting taken down by Sparkle. That was the final contest possible. Sparkle with 3. The first 2 kills he got, super important for that fight turnaround. But despite the EMP not really connecting, the EMP either missed or it only got a solo onto Mag.
I think it was a follow-up hack on the Mag.
Okay, well, yeah, just completely whiffed then. I think he saw Mag, tried to go for the EMP on Mag, and missed everybody. So all of that waiting, unfortunately, the EMP is not going to be the winning play. Thankfully for the rest of the Dallas field, Armbit and Sparkle were able to get the frags required. M3, by the way, he only wanted to be on the Sombra for the retake, and now he opts towards the Hanzo, which is probably a little bit of a safer pick. He likes the Ashe, but Hanzo is definitely more meta.
Yeah. Sparkle for now. Trying to break his way out of the side rooms. That's going to be hacked, but pops the recall. Doesn't take him very far. Still operating here on the cart. And even with that Orb of Harmony, MCD is going to be able to get the damage through with the help of the Discord. If they do take him down, the cart can continue to advance. I haven't seen Mag for a hot minute. Not sure what he's been setting up.
He needs Zest as well. This is the problem with this kind of dive as well. You have no Sombra, so... Okay, MN3 only wanted the Sombra for the retake, but if you really want the dives to be good, 3-man dive is better than a 2-man dive. Fixer himself now trying to dive into the back line.
So this finds Bliss, MCD as well. Just getting juggled around. The rally gets popped. They manage to find the supports off on the side. Cart still inched forward there by Sparkle. Gets a little bit of extra distance before going down on the back end of the fight. But a rally and a pulse for a fight win. Dallas Fuel nearly having 4. Should be able to break through once again.
That positioning is okay for the payload. We'll start moving backwards, but for now it's okay because it opens up the map. Dallas Fuel can start looking towards high ground plays. Edison doing some advanced scouting here. It's going to be a long dive though. Skewed is playing so far back that if Dallas Fuel want to really engage on this EMP, it's going to be a bit of rotation. Losing Bliss means that... Can they even really afford to reset? I mean, there's 35 seconds left, dude. It's a tough reset.
It's going to have to be a bit of a Hail Mary here in the last few seconds. As MN3 as well, just trying to spy check as best as possible since the recon didn't find too much of anything. Does find Edison there for a brief moment.
Yeah, that's right.
Force him back.
I think Edison translocated, so he's lost his setup a little bit. Oh my god, dude, how is this happening?
Oh, that is a catastrophe. That's a Transcendence now gone. Hanbin, we've seen him throw some Hail Mary, double kill self-destructs in the past at this very point. Can he do it again? But now they're down Sparkle as well. Oh, the picks from Infernal are just brutal.
Just
Hanbin
nano
cheats
Hanbin. Just
forward,
nano
does-
Hanbin to make the play.
Yep, does manage to get himself in there. MCD popping the Transcendence to try to get back over to the court. I don't even see where he's at the moment. He's just trying to rush back in. So Transcendence is used just to try to close distance. Self-destruct still held. Zest gonna have a fast little run back. Hanbin nanoed up. Looking for fix-up. He raises the shield. He keeps himself safe. Edison, again, having to jump out. Hanbin still holds the ult. The Dragon Strike rolls across. They know that MCD's down to a sliver. Hanbin broken out of the mech. Sparkle trying to keep Mag at bay. Self-destruct not going to be able to find anything, and they get zoned back away as the Baby Diva gets taken down. Sparkle not quite there. Gets him in 3, but it's not going to be the cap on B, so no extra minute and a half. That's the hold, and that's the Infernal getting themselves a win condition.
Touch wouldn't have mattered there. 3v5, no tank alive, one of your supports down. I do not really see a world for Fuel to come back there at all. Spawn advantage heavily in favor of the Seoul Infernal as well. At least they get some extra distance. Look, the one small silver lining, and this is like the world's worst silver lining, unfortunately, as Zest gets a free kill to Sparkle there with the stun and fixes rally. But anyway, back to the point I was trying to make. The only small silver lining there is the fact that with the nano boost on a Hanbin, they got a little bit of extra payload push. And why that matters is because when they defend B themselves, Dallas Fuel that is, they can at least defend further towards their own spawn if things go awry. And while that's a slightly winnable position, at least more so than what they would have had, but again, like I said, it does feel like the world's worst silver lining. It counts for something, but it does feel pretty rough. Matt, 3 kills in a row, Seth. 3 kills in a row, individually. It was Bliss, then MCD, and then Sparkle. All one by one falling in the last 30 seconds. You're trying to set up for a fight. Innocent's trying to set up for an EMP. And Dallas Fuel lost 3 individual members, one by one, before a fight even started.
This can't happen. It's just so devastatingly brutal. As it looks like Zest going to try to go for the opening pot shot. Fixer will set him up with the Life Weaver. Up we go. Not much to see other than Hanbin with the D-Matrix. Even pulls him back in. Hey, Life Weaver gameplay. Woo! Anyway, back to brass tacks. Mac, not on the ball like we might have suspected. Runs it for the whole defense, but now he's coming out with a Ramacha.
I think just kind of putting the Dallas Fuel on edge. Attacker side advantage, you can do what you want. I actually think the ball is probably better for B, but I actually think it's okay on A as well, so maybe you're right here. Ram is slightly weaker on B. We'll see how that transfers over once we get towards that point. Seoul Infernal will have to lock this first one down, though.
If you want to knock some supports off this high ground, it feels like the ball is the best way to do it, but instead it's going to be a death ball from Infernal. Just rushing forward. Vixen leading the charge will be greeted by an anti, so just pull back, but Mag goes rushing forward to try to take his place. Gets slept, Zest goes low, just managed to survive, and Bliss is on an island.
Hanbin D-Mac as well?
Yeah, this is just absolutely brutal. That should be the cap, or at least a hell of a lot of it coming in. Sparkle as well down on the back end. It's all just falling apart right now for the Fuel. MN3 fighting 2 on the back end. And that's going to be a cap, but a 2.5 minute bump up.
They sent Dallas Fuel into the 4 wins as Hanbin will not match the Ramacha. Let's have a ram off. As Dallas Fuel, okay, they lose the high ground. They can't hold it versus a full long rotation from the Seoul Infernal. Understandable. But as they fall to the low ground, first of all, Hanbin gets slept. And then MCD and Bliss go in different directions. Bliss, I believe, goes to Naxxramas, and MCD goes towards the Seoul Infernal spawn as MCD just gets ripped apart by Zest. Hanbin then trying to save Bliss inside Naxxramas, gets himself D-Macked, and it's all over from there.
I didn't see where MN3 was. I believe he was up on top of the tanks. It does end up getting taken down. Slight reprieve,
you know
but
why?
a fast run back all the same.
Because siege tanks, they can't fire in melee range.
True.
They can only shoot long range, not melee.
Well, there you go.
So like one Zergling will take it down. Yep. Any StarCrafters out there? Who knows?
Micro wasn't good. MN3, though, straight back into the action. Got some swift revenge onto Sparkle. Taking him down with a nice little headshot. Dragon Strike let loose. Hanbin, nowhere to go. Arms raised, just kind of dead. What?
How did Edison die to that?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Edison?
Can I get a replay of that?
Now, here's the problem with Edison dying there. He's setting up for EMP, and if you lose your setup now, your EMP suffers because you have to make another rotation while Seoul Infernal are pushing payload to the end.
Can they touch? I mean, Hanbin gets shield bashed. They
No,
can't
he's
touch.
not stunned.
They
Hanbin got
cannot
stunned.
touch. They pop the rally. Fixer says no. No access for you. The EMP, it arrives at the very end.
Oh my god.
It is a disaster.
Oh my god. How does Edison die to the dragon?
and then Harbin gets stunned by the rally from Fixer, and that's it. That is it.
Yeah.
It's all she
Look,
wrote.
Hanbin, you know what? Unlucky. You're forced onto the Winston. You get shield bash. You can't touch. Understandable. Out of your hands.
Oh, man.
How in the hell does that Dragon Strike find that kill?
Unless,
Did he translocate back into it?
yeah, it's got to be. Unless, like, the Dragon Strike just happens to go over the translocator and Edison translocates into it. I don't know. I can't explain it. Here's something else I can't explain. How Skewed ends the entire map deathless. That's right, Skewed. No deaths. On both defense and offense. And Seoul lost fights. It's not like Seoul won every single fight. They lost fights. But Skewed never died. That's crazy.
Unreal.
And Fixer only died once. So the support duo, 2 of them only died once. Fixer, that's it.
Well, what a bizarre way to end up with a 2-0 lead here for the side of the Seoul Infernal. Blizzard World has been taken away from the Dallas field. That has kind of been old faithful for them so far here this season. But today, not to be. Infernal doing their homework, getting their study in, and also it's absolutely insane shots. MN3 setting them up for that defense on B. But all the same, the lead is there. 2-0 start here for the side of the Infernal. It's a map pick once again for the Dallas Fuel. Can they get that win as we get ready to go to Escort? That is the question, and that's what we're going to find out and answer when we come back from the break. All right, we're back. Took a moment to shake off everything that we just saw in Blizzard World and focus back up as we go into map number 3. That's what we're hoping the Fuel has done as well. After a very bizarre set of circumstances led to them losing on their map pick there on Hybrid. So now they once again have their choice as we move forward into Escort. We'll see what they decide to pick and whether or not they're going to be able to pilot that to success.
And like I said earlier today, that Dallas Fuel would like to have all the maps go in their favor in terms of map choice, and they are going to get that, but not in the way they want, because, well, if you're getting all the maps that you are choosing, it means you're losing. It means if you lose this, you'll have to be down 3-0 in a reverse sweep scenario, giving Seoul Infernal the match point. And listen, this Dallas Fuel squad already lost 3-1 to the Seoul Infernal in the upper bracket. At least they took a map back then. What map did they take? I'm going to take a look real quick. It was Kings Row. No Kings Row online anymore. We have Escort now. And I'll just reveal it quickly. It's not going to be Rialto. I thought it might be Rialto, and it's not going to be Rialto. And I think the reason it's not going to be Rialto, if I was to delve into the mind palace of the Dallas Fuel coaching staff, which I think is just Rush, as we head into what will be Shambali instead, the reason will be is that I think Dallas, they're thinking the Diva comps might not be the answer. Because if you go Rialto, it's going to be another Diva comp. And while that did look good yesterday, it's not the answer today. The answer today, at least the one that hasn't been fully explored for the Dallas Field, is to go the Lucio comp. Play some Brawl. Play some Ryan. Play some Ram. Yep, I said Ryan because Harbin's played a little bit of Ryan already, but most likely he'll play the Ram instead.
I saw the Ryan bin yesterday.
It's the only card they have left to play. Their hand is being emptied out, and the one final card in that hand is the Rush. Rush's Rush.
Yeah. And, I mean, we have seen it with, you know, immense success on this map in particular. We can, you know, kind of anticipate that it's going to be this forward hold coming through from whichever team is going to be starting on the defense, which I believe is Infernal. So we'll be once again Fuel on the attack, and they need to be able to break through that forward hold if it does come through very quickly to set themselves up. As you mentioned, the King's Row, if you recall, was actually that cheeky back cap that they had when everybody was distracted off, you know, playing inside of the butcher shop, and then we managed to push the card through to keep the map win.
Was that versus Spark or Infernal? Because I know they did that versus Spark. I can't remember how they won versus Infernal. Maybe
right. I'm mixing them up. I feel like I'm pretty sure it was Infernal that they did it, but maybe I'm wrong.
Okay. They definitely did it versus Spark. Maybe they did it versus Infernal.
Some of it all blends together.
Yeah, that's true. The season is all.
Mag is on Doom.
All becoming one. He do be on Doom. This is a choice. Now you were saying that maybe they were going to go for a spawn camp, and I was thinking, okay, maybe Mag will play Ryan then. And now that they know it's Dive, and now they know it's Doom, it's going to go the Diva swaps. I still think they could have remained on the Ram. I don't know that they had to go towards this comp.
Yep.
But, okay, I think they're playing a little bit into the hands of the Soul Infernal here.
Okay.
I'm personally not a fan of the Doom.
Good dive. Great setup. Edison gets the call, gets the spot. Fixit gets taken down. Hammond going to be hacked and anti, but goes up over the wall, keeps himself safe, breaking line of sight. Card, however, going to be free to push up.
Rig. So, no more Kariko. Brig time, because I know they're up against Dive now. M3 at least getting some decent ult charge. This is just free push though. This is what Dallas Fuel want. Bit of a load time on the payload. M3 can't get the hack completed.
He doesn't. Mag, speaking of hacks, hacked out Anti, still managing to stay alive though. Pulls back around the corner. But again, more space that has to be given up here by the Infernal, because they don't have that brawl to just really stay on the card.
And Mag's just going to get bullied out. Every single fight's going to be diving to a sleep dart, a Bionade, a hack.
Yeah.
Everything that Doom can't really play into.
An MCD if you're M3.
Yep. The 3-litter players taking out the other 3-litter players.
Oh, Skew taking a really far forward position there. He will get taken down. So Stethos on the last map dies right here alongside Fix-Up. Says with the pulse bomb committed. Does manage to find Bliss, but Mag is going to fall, and surely we should be able to expect a swap as they get ready to cap here onto A.
Well, Mag's got to come back quickly, so what can he really swap to? Doom is probably the fastest character, unless they give up the cap, which they might do now, unless Zest can make some sort of magic happen, but he doesn't have a pulse bomb. He's just doing the solo. And he's done enough. He's done enough to give Mag time.
Rejoin has come in. They do have an Nano, and it's going to go out over to Mag right as the EMP strikes. M3 uses his as a follow-up to Edison's and picks it with a whip shot. Will be able to take him down. Anti on the 2, forces Hanbin back, can't play forward. Sparkles off on the flank, pulse bomb at the ready. You strike up into the air, straight back down. Shield gets raised. Zest gets the better of Sparkle, though. I mean, from behind, now finds MCD, finds Bliss. And it is just a field day for Zest. Does he get the Baby Diva as well? We'll have to just wait and see, because they're going to leave him out to his own devices for the time being. Maybe even just send him back to the spawn room, because there's nowhere for him to reset. But eventually MN3 will claim him.
I guess Zest he's just different. Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect the Zest 3K to come on through. The dude solo stalls the payload long enough for Mag to reach it. And the Seoul Infernal actually get a full-on recontest. And with that, both EMPs deployed. Nano deployed on top of Mag. And with Mag buying space, Zest goes off. And that's enough for Seoul Infernal to hold on to the point. I thought that was going to be capped. I was thinking there's just no way Seoul Infernal might even have to give up the cap. Zest says no.
Yeah, it seemed like it was done and dusted, but miraculously managed to fight back. Sparkle stunned up there for a brief little moment. Stick goes in. He does get it behind the shield, so Fix is going to be taken out. And Hanbin gets yet another eat on Zest Pulse. Found the first one there on Blizzard World now. A second to add in for the accolades of the match. Push going to be resumed. Zest taken down, so that clutch hero now removed from the equation. This should be the Fuel getting themselves over the line to A.
Finally, yep, that will manage to happen. So now Fuel will extend this map, and we are hoping for a much better map from the Dallas Fuel. Now hit on several ultimates here. One of the important ones, notably, is going to be the Nano boost. Edison is also catching up to MN3, and I think both will have the EMP around the same time again. Which will make for some interesting moments to play through. MN3 definitely needs to go for the setup earlier, because he's got his now.
Fix a hack, but the peel is there. They force Sparkle to recall, so you're able to keep that Brigida alive into the fight.
But here we go, spy games are on. Both EMPs.
At the ready, goes for Skewed into the back line. Sparkle arrives. They find the kill before the Nano can come online as well. Good elimination found here. That he is, and Mag has slept, and he's going to be taken down. Good efficiency coming through here from the side of the Fuel. Sparkle does die, but they set up for Fixa to die, so they can go ahead and continue pushing.
Edison, I think pulling the trigger early there is really respectable, because he was holding on to EMP a lot on Blizzard World, and some of that wasn't really his fault because his teammates kept dying. But here, finds an EMP slightly later than MN3, gets an earlier setup, and pulls the trigger. Okay, they do destroy the translocator, but MN3 hasn't been revealed yet, so he's just kind of chilling.
There's another. Sees both the supports. Times it, goes for the strike, catches 3. The anti is beautiful, but they need the follow-up damage, and MCD is actually going to find Zest. Trying to get in on top, trying to play off of that anti, but he just cannot do so. Now Mag going to be taken out by Bliss, and Sparkle finds MN3, and this EMP fight does not go the way of the Infernal at all.
There's just no focus damage. I mean, look at where MN3 put his damage after EMP came down. Hits 3. MC, I believe Hanbin wasn't a part of the original EMP, but he flies in time, catches the EMP anyway, eats a Bionade, and if they all just focus damage on Hanbin, he would have been dead. But Hanbin survived with his mech for way too long. So it was a lack of damage focus from Seoul Infernal as 3 low members, but no kills for a while.
Lobbing on the pulse, not going to find anything. Bliss now popping the rally to try to keep everybody else alive, and he's actually leading the charge, rushing forward. Stick onto the shield, not going to find that kill. Mag gets MCD, gets anti, pops the primals, now right back into the fight, looking for a little bit more. Beating and battering Bliss, who's now out on an island. He's going to be sent, not quite off the side of the mountain, dead before he could. It's Edison as well, trying to stay alive, trying to trade some damage back and get that next EMP ready to go, just 26% away. But for now, Infernal will find some stability. Cart locked in place in front of B with 40 seconds remaining. And
Hanbin now going over towards the Ram. And yeah, you're not going to find it all here. Got to be careful about MCD surviving, but the defense there will retain his life. Edison's EMP, the only saving grace, the only thing that I think can bail out the Dallas Fuel in this final fight, and just under 30 seconds will be enough to find the EMP. He's going to need to be able to once again find the perfect location, get it going. This is good. This is what you want to see. Edison can't afford to be too patient here, but he is revealed. That's not good.
He catches 2. Zest, the first one focused. Nemesis form, guns him down. Sparkle, however, going to be dead on the back of MN3's EMP as well. It's a fairly even fight. Just the tracers out of the equation. Just going to have a slightly faster rejoin. 16% away from that next pulse bomb. And Nano, as you say, 11% off. But Hanbin getting taken so low. The anti will expire. He manages to stay alive. The arms come up. The Nano goes out. Now it's just before target. Mad, beaten, battered, goes up onto the high ground, tries to stay safe. Follow-up hack, the shield comes in. Bliss going to be anti, out goes lower and lower, and Mag eventually does manage to find that elimination. Pulse from Zest, goes wide, doesn't find anything, but now it's going to be skewed. We'll have that Nano at the ready. Lobs in the nade, finds Edison, forces him back. 148 meters left to go. The Nano goes across. Mag gonna be the recipient. Stick comes in. Fix gonna be taken down. The Annihilation able to find that kill. They need a little bit more though to try to get themselves across the line. Seth's falling lower and lower. Hanbin again antied out. He tries to swing the corner to take down the Tracer, but he just cannot do it. And much like Blizzard World, the cart will rest just in front of point B. No second attempt here from the side of the fuel.
And this is why I think for Dallas Fuel, they should have just stayed on the Ram instead of, you know, going towards the Diva plays. And okay, they got towards B off the back of the Diva, but when push really comes to shove on a map like this, Hanbin eventually swaps over towards the Ram, but it's only in the last fight. He retains the 25% he left over from the Diva. It takes so long sometimes to build up towards the Annihilation, and you know, we've seen plays like Marvel get super quick Annihilation in the past, but this just wasn't that moment. As you know, you see on multiple points in the defense, Zest had several good moments. However, for the Dallas Fuel, they still managed to at least get past A. That was Zest defending on A. They got past A. B ended up being the problem. You don't see a lot of teams get stuck on B. A lot of teams get full held on A. A lot of teams don't finish the map on C. But most teams actually do cap through B. I just don't think they have the ultimates. Edison didn't get the best EMP in the final fight, got revealed early. MCD was lagging behind on the Nano, needed that slightly earlier, and Hanbin was lagging behind on the Annihilation. Ideally, they would have had Nano and Annihilation at the same time, but neither of the ultimates were available.
I'm sure he was proud.
Well, we saw Infernal have a very breezy push when it came down to Blizzard World. Now they've got the cart right from the outset. Let's see how they fare. Sparkle's back over to May. This was kind of the highlight for him yesterday. He was looking incredibly clean. Can he deliver that same level of performance here now? Something that Fuel desperately need to have a successful defense.
Alrighty. Spawn camp. Including Sombra.
Oh.
Gives them some flexibility to go back over towards Dives if they really want to, but again, I think maybe just stay on the Ram this time around. So let's see how they break out of the spawn hole. They need to work multiple angles. Well, it's actually not a spawn hold anymore. I'm sorry. Dallas Fuel have backed out. They've gotten really far back. They're not playing close at all.
And they're just playing up the street a little bit. Good poke damage though. Sparkle able to confirm a kill. MN3 going to be taken down. Let's just go ahead, pop the wall, get up here onto the high ground, try to find Fixa, who uses the Suzu, but clearly does not have that dash. Can't get his way out to safety, so Zest as well off screen going to be taken out by MCD. And now they can go ahead and regain some ground, push up towards the spawn.
Really important sniping by Sparkle there to take down MN3 early. Allow them to also ring around the corner to find Fixa down and Seoul Infernal. Okay, this is just pretty lackluster distance to start things out with. MC, by the way, also doing a great job of farming up that Nano. That's exactly what we want to see on the Dallas Fuel side of things. Scoob trying to race MCD on the other hand. And it's DPS Bliss coming through.
I mean, he's back over to the Lucio so he can frag. Gets that kill. Zest going to be shut down for the delaying that pulse bomb, which very slow building compared to what we saw from him before. Fixa as well, going to be swapping the match.
3 swaps. Wow, 3 swaps. Which means 3 ultimates reset. They are now going to be extremely behind on ultimates. Skew's got a window, but everyone else on the Dallas Fuel is going to have their ultimates faster. Some of them a lot faster.
And this EMP could be catastrophic for them. Notes one around the back.
Yes,
Looks back on the Zest. Does manage to find it, but Zest still going to be safe for now. Got Matrix from Skewed to open things up. That forces Hanbin out to try to break line of sight, and Edison gets sniped. MN3 with a massive opening. Catches him before the EMP can come to play. The Blizzard's still committed by Sparkle. Everybody just drops off the high ground. And now MN3, he's actually just recontesting into it. Skewed dead, but they find Bliss, they find the May, and that's going to be them pushing up around the corner.
Starts well for the Dallas Fuel, but it just falls apart as quickly. Seoul Infernal, like MN3 makes a swap over towards the Hanzo, instantly starts finding some value. Edison getting revealed earlier, had to translocate away. I mean, the dude needs to be looking for EMP, but it just keeps on getting revealed. And then somehow sniped long range by a Sonic via MN3. You just don't see that. We're still waiting now as he nurses the EMP. This has got to come through this fight for sure. The ultimate advantage that the Dallas will have is fading away.
It's the hacks, so they know roughly what side he's playing on. Meantime, Annihilation built up. Nano's there for Hanbin. Pops it. The EMP does come through. Manages to catch 4. That's going to be the first to fall. Mag going lower and lower as Hanbin just continues to press forward. They will be able to clean up the kills, so the EMP has worked the treat. 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining. A sound barrier still pocketed here for the Dallas Fuel.
Yep. There's a world where they can definitely full hold on A now, but even failing that, I think just draining the time bank down to 0 will mean that time available to Cat B is going to be pretty scarce for the Seoul Infernal. We do favor the Seoul Infernal a little bit in this fight. Okay, Blizzard, Dragon Strike, both great ultimates for the final fight. We'll see what Bliss can pull through on the sound barrier, though. He only needs to count out one of those ultimates and then maneuver the rest of the team around the secondary one.
Fix is going to have one of his own.
So we'll be pretty competitive.
He's going for the long flank to try to get in behind them, but
he's already ice blocked.
Yeah, he's got an ice block because he's trying to get away from the hack, but MN3 just shuts it down. Edison taken out. Wall goes up. They block him off. The freeze comes in. Sound barrier committed. Bliss trying desperately to save Hanbin's life, but there's just not enough shielding in the world to keep him in that one. Anti on the 2, but no reprieve found from MCD, who's doing his damnedest to try to peel, to try to force them back. The cap will come in. It's going to be 235. Just in front of B is where they need to go. Infernal not going to be full health here.
And tragically, Sparkle dies at 95. MCD dies at like 98. Bliss tries to save Hanbin's life, but once Hanbin's frozen, even with a sound barrier extra HP, Hanbin melts anyway. Just cannot survive that situation.
MN3 back up.
And we talked about the fact that Fixer also had a sound barrier, didn't even need to use it. So holds on to that one for the next fight. And okay, at least Dallas Fuel drained the timer down to OT. That was the minimum that they needed.
Okay, the Nano rushing out of the window, just kind of waterfalling down. MN3, the first to fall. Blizzard will claim Zest and Fixa as well. Hanbin's fists. Only a matter of time before Skewed will go as well. Nice little team kill off the back of the Nano. Well done for the side of the Fuel and some much needed stability.
Maybe surprising that Fixer didn't go for the sound barrier there. Skewed actually went for the window. I would have expected the opposite order of operations. Sound barrier first, and then Skewed can look for a window opportunity later. Perhaps he's thinking about the fact that Edison is also teetering on the edge with the EMP. They don't know that he's got EMP yet, but they probably should suspect that some time has passed now since the last EMP. Speaking of time, 1 minute is gone. So out of 230, 120 remains. Both Annihilations will be coming through in the next fight. Payload's movement has been pretty average as well.
EMP, the positioning's looking good. The ice block's already down. Pulls the trigger, finds 3. Sound barrier does come in. Immortality is field as well, keeping Mag alive. They finally clear that up. Mag going lower and lower. Fixa, however, finds Sparkle, takes out one of the damage dealers. They manage to sustain Mag back up. Fixa again with another. He's looking for a third. He's trying to get on top of Bliss. He's not quite going to be able to do it. The Annihilation will claim the kill, but Edison's only able to find one. Skewed taken down. Fixa will get his third of the fight. And the push can now continue. 45 seconds remaining for the side of the Infernal on this one. Fuel, they will have a recontest, but it's going to be a neutral fight on both sides until Zest gets his Blizzard.
I don't even think Mag needed to use the Annihilations. He could have held that for this fight as well. Here we go, touch. They have to, yeah, Hanbin should get in time. The wall is pretty good as well.
Tries to send them
Waiting
back.
for Blizzard.
Hanbin staying alive. The Blizzard now online. Mag down to a sliver. The Blizzard's still going to be committed. MCD able to find that first kill, but now Hanbin going to be broken down. It's going to be trade out on these tanks, and MN3 goes absolutely nuclear. Finds 3, gets both the supports, gets the 4th. Does he find the 5th? They're going to wait for the ice block. The wall comes up, and Zest will take it away from him, so not going to be able to get the clean sweep that he was looking for, but Infernal will continue on their merry way, trying to sweep the Fuel under the rug here in this final. A 3-0 start, seemingly no map choice is enough to bail them out. The Infernal are just that much more clutch.
I mean, you can see it on Hanbin's face, man. Dejection. It's a tough game. It is a tough match. Going to the last fight there, Hanbin, not a lot he could do, just instantly frozen up. 2 fights, you feel like Hanbin just couldn't really pull the trigger on anything, and nothing's working. We talked about the fact that, okay, what was working for the Fuel yesterday? D.Va. D.Va was probably the name of the game. And multiple times now, D.Va has not been enough. The Ram is now not enough. Dive isn't working. Brawl isn't working. Dallas Fuel, they're getting points. They can get a couple of fight wins in there, but they're not in a position to win any maps. They can't win enough fights to win a map currently, and this is looking like a 4-0 because Dallas Fuel, like I said, they have 1 card left to play, and that was a Brawl, and now that they played that, the hand is empty.
The hand is empty, and so is the map score right now for Dallas Fuel. And right here on the precipice are the Infernal. 1 more to give us yet another 4-0 sweep today in the Group B final. To punch their ticket to Mid-Season Madness and join in alongside of the Hangzhou Spark. It is a necessary reverse sweep now that the Fuel are staring down the barrel of. And given what we've seen, I just don't know if it's going to be possible. But it needs to begin right now with this next map pick. Push is going to be coming up. We'll see where they opt to go, whether or not they're going to be able to get that map win. Don't go anywhere. The action's going to continue. We are back, and the Infernal are now just one map win away from sweeping their way 4-0 through this Group B final matchup and punching the ticket to the mid-season Madness tournament here in South Korea. And it just seems like they're unstoppable at this moment.
It's not been anywhere close enough, not for the Dallas Fuel. I mean, all the magic that we saw yesterday was poured into their win versus the O2 Blast, and that magic seems to have fallen by the wayside now. Versus the Seoul Infernal. You know what? Map number 4, it's going to be push. I said that the Dallas Fuel had no more cards left to play, but they got one more card left to play. It might be a Joker card, and you know, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think the Dallas Fuel fans are ready to have this conversation. They can sub-rush in. That's the last thing they can do. But you know what? I don't think Dallas Fuel fans, they're not brave enough to have that conversation.
Yeah, I don't think they want to have to resort to that one. Obviously, want to have this 5-man core work, be functional, be reliable. Obviously, this meta, not great for them, but that argument only goes so far. Because if you want to remain at the top, if you want to have that back-to-back championship, you need to be flexible. You need to be able to play across multiple metas.
I don't even think the meta's awful though, because you can still play the Ram. You can still play brawly type stuff. You can still play like Hanzo metas as well. You can just pretend to be the Guangzhou Charge. Just take a look at Skew's stats here from the last map as the Ana. And low deaths per minute. In fact, low deaths across the entire series, I gotta say, especially on the last map, on the 2 maps ago now it would have been on Blizzard World. Yeah, pretty standard stuff. I think it would have been probably a little bit more worthwhile to also be able to compare it to MCD. Both players did pretty equal. I don't think Skewed had that much better of a game compared to MCD on Chambali. As even the low deaths, they both only died 5 times. So, yeah, both similar healing, similar damage done. Skewed actually a little bit more damage done, and MCD a bit more healing done, just in terms of what they were focusing on. Yeah, I think to me it's been more of like a DPS differential. MN3 Zest has been the clear standouts versus Edison Sparkle. As far as talking about 6-man goes as well, it's not like Seoul Infernal can really go anywhere with that. What are you going to do? Sub Poco in from France? Play on some 200 EU ping? That would be their only out as well. Thankfully, they don't have to even think about that because they are 3-0 up, looking pretty comfortable on map Colosseo. Actually, you know what? All joking aside, Harpen could go Junker Queen here. Because you do expect Mag to play Winston. So
yeah, and I think that has to be play.
In all seriousness, out of the sleeve, out of Russia's sleeve appears one last card that we all forgot about, the Junker Queen.
Well, since you made it before, we'll hope that it is the Junker Queen, not the Joker Queen at the end of this one, because if it does not hold water, if they cannot get this win, that is it. That's the first half of the season done and dusted. You won't be attending an international event. They need this to be the first step of many, of 4 maps that they would need to pull off in reverse sweep fashion to steal this away from the Infernal. Who, I mean, to them, it feels like if they had to travel, it would feel like they already had their flights booked. Obviously, for them, it's more of a train ride.
Barely that way. I don't know how far away Kintex is from.
Can't suspect that they would make them try to train all the way over there and then walk to the venue. It's like 10-15 minutes walk from the subway station over in Ilsan.
Yeah. There it is. There's the Junker Queen.
Okay, so, and it's not the Winston. It's the Doomfist again from Mag.
But I think the Junker Queen is fine into the Doom. It's not as dominant as it is the Winston, but it's fine versus the Doom.
Not necessarily concerned about the matchup. I'm more just wondering why they continue to try to run this one when it has not been finding much value at all.
Dude, I'm trying to remember. The last time that we saw these 2 teams play, did they not also play this map? Colosseo, and did we not get this matchup, the same matchup, Junker Queen versus Doom?
We may have.
Pretty sure we got this exact same matchup last time.
We have to look back on it. Either way, though, neutral fight has begun. MN3 sliding along the sides, looks to get a hack across, does find MCD, but can't put enough damage down to really threaten him.
Okay, you know what? I've looked back on it. It is the exact same composition.
Okay, there you go.
The last time they played, and by the way, Infernal still won, so they're running it back. Hanbin played Junker Queen, Mag played Doom, Infernal still won on Colosseo the last time they played in the upper bracket.
I guess I'm just not remembering that one. Wipe the Doom from my mind. Either way, still just a very extended neutral fight, minute 15 in.
Eventually, Hanbin swapped to Diva, and then Mag swapped to Zarya, so look out for that later on.
Okay, let's see if we follow the same script. Either way, Fixa finding an opening headshot. Edison's going to be taken down, but MCD also looks to get involved. Sends a kunai over through to finish off Mag. Now without a tank. Play does make things a bit more precarious here for the Seoul Infernal. Fuel in a position, if they can just clear this out, they can start the push. Sleep Dart going to be going wide, skewed, unable to find one. Now is under fire. Also a little bit low, but Fixa will be able to go ahead, keep him with sustained. MCD this time. The follow-up is found. They managed to get that elimination. Now, Tsune Rush does come through. Infernal looking to shove them back. Dallas Fuel, go ahead. They disengage. They pull away, allowing to give up a little bit of space, but the bot still isn't even pushing, so this isn't too bad for the Fuel at all.
EMP time. M3 should be out hunting. Zest and Mag got to be ready for this one. As there's not a lot on the defense. MCD's got to be careful to be able to Suzu this. High ground play though, so to be fair, where Dallas Fuel are currently standing, they can't really get EMP'd. They got to come down at some point. You want to push the payload, you cannot just be sitting on the high ground. Once they're down, M3 actually spotted Edison there.
Yep, noted, and then ends up getting spy checked as well.
That actually is really bad for M3. Him getting spy checked right now when he's sitting up for EMP is not good.
Oh, Edison hacked as he tries to go around the backside, and then Cube turns, finds the kill, now dumps that nano straight over into Mag. Seismic Slam not going to be finding too much there. Looks for the punch, goes wide. Zest as well with a pulse bomb, not able to find the sticks. The product still not really gained. 6 meters, 3 minutes into this one. This is the maximum distance that we have, but now the EMP comes through. Hanbin isolated, ends up falling. Sparkle has to get himself out to safety. It seems like the Infernal should finally start gaining some distance for themselves. Especially with the follow-up kills.
Hanbin down, that's the player that you want. Caught on the sidelines, still ended up being a 3-man EMP, and what a huge pick on Edison. That's where it starts, right? Edison spy checks MN3, forces MN3 out, but then the exact same thing happens when Edison finds his EMP. He tries to go for the setup, and we're seeing the spy versus spy again. Sombra versus Sombra gameplay. At least Edison didn't get hacked out this time. Him dying on the sidelines near the glass before the EMPs were deployed allows MN3 to find his EMP first, and Edison just has to sit in the spawn room.
Mag makes his exit off the high ground. Bot for now. Control has to be surrendered. Edison skirting around the side, tries to go for the hack here on MN3, but does get spotted out. Forces him away. Rampage goes across, managing to find 2. Bliss, however, going to be taken down, skewed, and Mag Health will go ahead and bleed out. Zest follows up with a second elimination to try to even the score. MN3 finds MCD so they can trade up, and they actually win this out.
And a bag. Bag him and tag him. The Seoul Infernal will continue the push. They're not going to camp, so there's not going to be enough time here to cap, and they're still waiting for respawns. But Zest absolutely, yeah, he outplayed Sparkle there for sure. Still waiting for this Edison EMP. It's been a couple fights now that we expected it. The upsetting thing is, if Edison uses it too early here, then they're not going to be able to find value in terms of getting their own push. So it's kind of good that Seoul Infernal, at least from the Dallas Field POV, that Seoul Infernal back out, so they don't have to be forced to use ultimates just to regain payload control. They got that for free.
Back on the Bliss, dive into the back line. They're looking for him. Heels coming across. Looks like MCD will be able to keep him alive. In the meantime, Fixa ends up falling right after using the Kitsune Rush. Good answer back to keep the bot from pushing forward. Try to get it back into a more neutral position, but they're still looking to push the issue. Nano goes across. MCD gets taken down. Mag looking for a little bit more. Hanbin over into the wall. Fist raised to try to mitigate some of this damage coming across, but now has the Meteor Strike as a bit of a bailout. The Seismic Slam goes up into the air, looks to drop down. Hanbin has to swing away from him, but he goes right into the welcoming arms of Zest, who takes him out. And now Bliss, looks like he will be able to survive, but widely still, the fight goes the way of the Infernal as Zest finds another.
And Dallas will actually have the first frag. Edison EMP on the backline, fix it down. That was the trade. The Seoul Infernal, they survived because the other members were able to push forward with the necessary trades. Now threatening the cap. And with an EMP on M3's side, this should be pretty easy. He's just going to go for it.
Yeah, MCD taken down. Hanbin trying to stay alive. Down barrier. Let's catch the 4 remaining players. They try to rush back over and stop this bot. I believe they do stop it actually before the checkpoint comes in.
Yep.
Fix it dead on the back end. Matt gets the punch across though. Edison going to be taken down for delaying that next EMP. With him falling though, it seems like the Fuel should have some breathing room. But they need to get some distance. This is only 4 minutes remaining.
It seems expensive, but honestly, I respect the sound barrier coming through from Bliss because you have to guarantee the touch. One of the only ways to do that safely is to just expend the sound barrier, play the 4vx scenario, win the fight on the payload, prevent the actual cap. Making sure that Seoul Infernal don't cap is super important, and they did get that.
More back into the fight, because I lost my microphone for a second there, but hopefully you can hear me now. Hanbin going to be taken down. Edison as well. eliminated as an Infernal look to just go ahead and keep this bot locked on the Dallas Fuel side of the map. Pulse bomb from Sparkle gonna be able to find one. Does get a double up. Finding Zest, but is that gonna be enough for them to win out? Because now he's in a bad spot. Has to try to just dash away, but he doesn't have a recall, doesn't have any more blinks. He ends up falling under the pressure.
3 minutes left, roughly 3:30. And there has to be a contest fairly soon. Harbin's back into play. Seoul Infernal will give this one up. They're not going to over-push. Not going to push into territory of Dallas Fuel when they have EMP just about online. Harbin's sitting on Rampage now. Harbin died in thinking the last fight about 99. Not that he could have used the Rampage in time, but just goes to show how fine the margins are for Dallas Fuel in terms of being able to make a play actually happen. This is one of the better places to use Rampage as well, given how narrow these corridors are.
And find value. No sound barrier to try to sustain through the bleeds and the antes. EMP though, first from MN3. MCD gonna be taken out, skewed with a bio nade, able to scoop the kill. Edison still holds on to his own EMP at this point, but do you want to commit it? Just wait and see, but now that Hunvin's out of the mix, you certainly don't. With Mag dying, I think it would still be a bit wanting as Zest is doing what Zest does best. Sealing the bot away, rotating it over to the opposite side of the map.
And he'll also make it out alive, you'd imagine? Yeah.
Oh my god.
Sparkle, no, bro. That hurts. At least Zest didn't teabag him again. You don't need to do it twice. But Sparkle just dives straight into a fistful of pulse rifle, pulse pistols.
And the follow-up is too late on the back of the hack, so Zest still gets out scot-free. 4 ults about to be online here for the Infernal. EMP strikes, catches 2. Nano on a Mag to try to keep him alive, and Zest does not get taken down. They do not have the follow-up now. It's an answering hack and a sleep here onto Hanbin. Shield comes in from Bliss, fixes the match on the opposite side.
Surely Rampage.
Rampage still available, uses it in timing, trying to catch Mag on the drop down from the Meteor Strike. It doesn't get him, but it does get Fixa and Swell skewed. Gets up for the kill on the one, and Mag is right back into the mix of things, taking down MCD. Pulse bomb goes across, Mag finished off. Sparkle could come away with one there, but it's a minute and 38 seconds remaining. The bot still locked in position. They have to get this push started.
They need to get the push started a while ago. This is the first real distance. I mean, they were sitting on nothing realistically.
Surely Zest doesn't live? Okay.
Yeah, well, with Bliss helping him out, Sparkle will be able to get the 2v1 confirmed. Mag now going over towards the Ram, so we're not going to see the Doom the entire way through. And you know, I respect it. If you just want to play defensively now and hold the 64 meters, because you don't have to go for the scap. Yeah, go forward towards the Ram, play super defensively. Sparkle, I think he's dead. Yep. Goodbye.
God. I mean, you can just see Johnny on the spot. Sleep Dart comes in. Zest arrives. Just instantly.
Up there.
Yeah, I mean, he was antied out, but Zest doesn't care. Hanbin's just like, yeah, go ahead, take me. Let me get a faster reset.
Full arms wide open. Take me, my time. It's my time. I'm ready. Claim me. As he swaps over towards the Ram as well.
Pulse bomb ticks up naturally. Now has this one online. Sparkle moving over, trying to keep the bot contested, deny this checkpoint from coming through. Hanbin up onto the high ground, looking to match. Pulse bomb not going to connect. MCD manages to avoid that one. Fixa going to get eliminated. Edison with a nice little kill. Can they find more on the back end? Gets the hack onto Skewed. Should be able to set that on down for bed. And they'll be able to do so. So fight one, but it's so many more that they need to win.
And versus ultimates, EMP on both sides. Here, Skewed as a nano. They have to catch up. Dallas Fuel are lacking. At least they got a pulse bomb to play with. They can find a pick here. If they can get Zest. Yeah, that would be big because that's 5v4. The Zest is pretty elusive, not elusive enough. How about 3 members? 3 members of Dallas chase them down, but I gotta say, pretty worth.
Only takes 1 to push. Get the bot back now, moving forward. Gonna push this thing up the hill.
Halfway there.
In the meantime, around the back, Hanbin, the lone person here. Hack comes across. They look to just force him out. Nade goes across to try to empower that healing. And yeah, it will keep him sustained for now. The Nano is well invested. Pulse bomb from Sparkle finds Fixa. That's taking a nap. Bliss confirms the kill. Annihilation in the back pocket. Mag just raising the shield, going up onto the high ground. Tries to break line of sight, is able to do so.
One more fight.
Sparkle at arm's length, but the push is still coming through.
Annihilation fight. This is it. And by the way, Bliss has a sound barrier, so that could be the difference maker. MN3 though, EMP equal. In terms of difference being made here, he goes for the back line.
EMP goes in with the sound barrier, does still come across the anti, buys them a little bit of extra time, but now the Annihilation rolling on either side. Fixa, Mag, both so very low. The kill's not yet confirmed. Skew is out of the fight, so the healing is so very slow. They haven't been able to find it yet, but the bot is still moving forward, and eventually someone has got to drop down to try to keep this thing contested. Zest merely with the pulse bomb. A percentage away. Recalls back up here onto the high ground. 3 meters left to
Big
go.
sound
Sound
barrier.
barrier from Fixa. Mag still down low on HP. Pulse bomb goes in, gets the stick. Hanbin taken down. That could be the beginning of the end. We need to see some clutch right now from the side of Sparkle, from the side of Edison, but it's not going to happen. Zest will take him down. Fixa got Bliss, and that's going to be the end of it all. The team will erupt in applause as they know they are now going to be playing on land in front of their home crowd here in Seoul. They get the sweep, a 4-0 victory over the Dallas Fuel.
The home team will confirm it. They get to go to the midseason madness. Dallas Fuel, they tried. They got a really decent win versus O2 Blast yesterday, but the Seoul Infernal are an entirely different beast. Far too difficult to take down. So difficult, in fact, that Dallas Fuel couldn't take a single map, and Seoul Infernal were just on a different level today. All 5 members playing out of their minds. When Dallas gave it their best, they played every single composition they know, all the different strategies they had in mind. They left it all on the table there, but the Seoul Infernal, they are the best team in the region for a reason. They might not be the #1 seed, power ranking wise, by the end of the qualifiers, by the end of the regular season, at least for the first split of this year. By far, you would imagine Seoul Infernal the team to beat, and that continues through as we head into mid-season madness. Both of the teams between Spark and Infernal winning their knockout stage finals 4-0 flawless.
And I mean, as far as the representatives go, having them moving over into international competition, getting ready to take on the NA squads, that's what you want to see from these teams. You want to see dominance, and that's exactly what we got. Hangzhou Spark would love to throw their hat in the ring and say, hey, we need to be in that conversation as well for the #1 team. Given the form that they've been showing, and obviously we don't want the region to cannibalize themselves, but Zest versus Leaf sounds like one hell of a hype matchup right now, as Zest is going to be our player of the match.
And honestly, if you weren't sold already, that last map, Zest outplaying Sparkle multiple times, Zest stealing the payload away again, as he always does. And then in the final fight, the cherry on top, my goodness, the icing tastes good. Pulse bomb onto Harmon to confirm the kill, the straw that breaks the camel's back. The Dallas Fuel's back, snuffs out the flame. That was all they needed, a complete Coliseo. And look, Dallas Fuel pushed that Coliseo map as far as they could into one final fight, meters away from maybe getting the flip in the cap and the map win. Starts out though, however, all point back on Ilios. You remember this cheeky little, I think this was a 3K, or at least a 2K.
He didn't get MCD, but was able to help set up for those kills to come through. Zest, I think you could have, this is another one of those situations where there's so many arguments to be made because pretty much everybody on the side of the Infernal was playing out of their minds. They were operating on all cylinders. MN3, some fantastic clutches. Think back to him just deny these picks that he got to try and deny the push going forward onto point B. The kills that he was able to get on Shambhali Monastery. So it's a tough call, and there's multiple people who are very deserving of this award. Zest gets it in the end, and he just continues to be absolutely incredibly clean when it comes down to his tracer play.
Well, I certainly think the DPS line was where the difference was made today. You can argue that, honestly, the supports were a lot more even than you would have imagined, especially since that I think the Dallas Fuel supports have done a lot of catching up in the past few weeks. MCD had an amazing clutch Bionet to save Harbin's life to even enable them to take a final Coliseo. Harbin has always been a star factor on this team, but it was a rough showing from Sparkle and Edison, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. MN3 and Zest, well, nothing but star-studded from their POV as we once again see the one clip from Zest straight into Sparkle's face. And then finally, this is the pulse bomb that seals the deal. Boom, straight onto Harbin. Good night, sweet prince.
Yeah. And not only that, it looked like Bliss kind of going off the side of the map there for a brief moment, so has to wall ride his way back up. And just given the lack of time that you're dealing with, not having that Lucio there to offer up a little bit of extra healing to try to peel, to try to boop Zest away right before the pulse bomb comes in, also ends up being catastrophic. But it was a hell of a performance here from this guy, as we have very regularly come to expect.
Yeah. M3, by the way, final fun fact, didn't die at all on that last map of Coliseo, so finished deathless 5-0. This finishes 10-5. M3 himself, as you mentioned, also had a brilliant round of plays. 4K Hanzo, I believe, on Shambhali. Impressive stuff. Seoul Infernal looking good, heading into mid-season madness. I think on the positive end, it's good to see one of the home teams, whether that's Seoul Dynasty or Seoul Infernal, be able to represent their city, the city that the mid-season madness will take place in. I'm sure there'll be a fan favorite for sure. That is exactly what Korean fans in Seoul want. Now the Korean fans will be ready to hear from Zest or whoever we interview in a short moment.
Yeah, we'll see who we're going to be hearing from. Looks like it is going to be Zest that we'll have the interview with, so we'll get to hear from our player of the match, get his thoughts on the road that Infernal has undertaken, because obviously there's been a lot of changes. But we'll go ahead and hand this off to Unknown to guide us through.
솔직히 그래도 델러스 피올하고 지난번에 만났을 때는 스코어가 3대 1이었는데 오늘 4대 0.
Last time when you faced the Dallas Fuel, it was 3-1. This time, even though it was a first to 4, you went 4-0. Did you expect this to happen? I mean, I was definitely thinking that we'd win, but not through 4-0, so I'm definitely surprised, well, pleasantly surprised at that, and I feel good.
나이 정도면 잘한 것 같은데 왜 나는 POTM 안 주고 맨날 딴 사람 줘? 이런 혹시 불만은 없으셨어요?
So, you have been surprisingly not getting a lot of the player of the matches despite your many wins. Have you had any? Were you disappointed so far? Well, yes but no, because all my teammates were really good, and like it was whatever. Well, and on this important match, very important match, you got the player of the match. So did that kind of like, you know, make you feel any better? Yeah, I mean, if I didn't even get the player of the match today, I would have been a little bit, you know, sad. But and also tomorrow's my birthday, so that's, I guess, a factor. Happy birthday!
괴물들이라고 말씀을 드렸어요. 그러니까 모든 경기에서 본인들이 준비를 한 건지 아닌 건지 어떻게 이렇게
So I do also want to ask you a question. Like the coordination during today's match was really on point. Was this all pre-prepared, or is this something that has been going on the fly?
코치진의 능력도 되게 좋다 생각하고 저희가 그리고 저희가 선수 개개인이
So I think I do have to mention that it's a very big coach diff, and our coaches really prepare well, and also just on the individual player level, our players have a very large hero pool, and with those kind of ingredients, our coaches are able to cook up a lot of different tactics and strategies, which we are gladly able to execute. So do you have any personal goals for this season?
무조건 우승할 생각이고 그냥 진짜 미드 시즌 일단 우승을 하고 싶어요.
So I mean, before anything else, like on the short term, I really just want to win MSM.
제일 좀 그래도 지금 현재 리그에서 동서부를 다 합쳐서 이 팀은 좀 너무 강력한 것 같다.
So the West and East divisions combined, is there a specific team that you think that is really strong and hard to go against?
정도긴 한데 투아타도 만나면 이게 쉽게 이길 것 같긴 한데 저희가.
So I mean, I think the only actual threat would be the Atlanta Reign, but at this rate right now, we're really confident in going against Atlanta Reign. So do you mean that even if the Atlanta Reign isn't a match for Infernal, are you saying that Infernal may be the strongest in the entire league? I mean, at this rate, yes.
많은 팬 여러분들이 응원을 해주셨단 말이에요. 우리 팬 여러분들께 또 한 말씀 하셔야죠.
So you get to compete on home turf of the Mid-Season Madness. Do you have any messages for the fans?
올해도 계속 응원해 주셔서 너무 감사드리고 이번 시즌은 진짜 인페르날이 무조건 우승을 한번 할 테니까.
So thank you for all the support, and this year I have really high confidence that we can win everything for you. So thank you for your support, and please keep it going.
뭐 딜러가 두 명이니까. 근데 솔직히 누구는 또 뭐 MN3가 더 잘하는 것 같다.
So the DPS lineup of Infernal is really scary. If you compare yourself to MN3, who do you think is actually better?
그래도 저희 둘 다 잘한다 생각하고 누가 더 잘하고 그런 건 모르겠고 둘 다.
To be honest, like, is there any meaning in comparing the two? MN3 is a really good DPS player. I think I'm an okay DPS player. I think we're really both good players.
약간 좀 MVP를 개인적으로 좀 꼭 받고 싶다 뭐 이런 감정이 있나요? 아니면은 MN3도 잘하니까 MN3가 받아도 좋을 것 같다.
솔직해집시다.
So, like, continue on the comparison. Let's just say if you have the choice to choose if MN3 gets an MVP award or you for the MVP award, who would you, who would you give your blessing to?
하지만
I guess me, because if you're comparing me to MN3, I would definitely like to have the honors.
사실 지금 게이머로서 너무나 계속해서 승승장구하면서 승리 행진을 이어가고 있단 말이에요. 이럴 때 게이머로서는 가장 행복한 상황이 될 것 같아요. 어떻게 지금 모든 팀 내 분위기 막 이런
So, you and your team are on a very like a high winning streak right now. What's the vibes like in the team house?
이대로만 가면 잘 풀릴 것 같아요. 이대로만.
I think, everything's being really constructive, everyone's being happy, and not just like, we're not always looking at the bright side, but we're also looking at criticisms for our teams and feedback also. So I think if this keeps going on, I think we'll be in a really good spot.
네, 그런 건 없어요. 네.
그래요? 그냥 경기에만 집중하자 이러는군요.
네,
So we're mostly just focused on the games and being professional, like not a lot of like, private things going on back the scenes. We're just really focused on our objective and the games.
응원하겠습니다. 제스트 선수.
감사합니다.
And
네,
thank
다시 한번
you.
생일 축하드리고요. 고맙습니다.
And happy
네,
birthday.
바이바이.
And that is the interview. Back to you guys.
야, 이렇게
Wow, happy birthday.
Well, happy birthday. That's going to be a hell of a celebration because you get to double down for the birthday party as well as qualifying for mid-season madness. It's got to be a damn good feeling. Seoul Infernal. It's a day for Overwatch at the end of it all, it would seem, but we have figured out who our representatives are going to be here from the APAC region, which I believe leaves just one more team that is unknown at the moment, as far as who are, as far as all of their participants for MSM is concerned. Speaking of unknown, again, everybody in the chat, make sure you say thanks to Unknown as well as Evelyn for giving us the translations here today. Let's go ahead and see how we got here, starting with Group A.
Been a long journey and a lot of fallen teams. Probably the most disappointing team in Group A had to be the Seoul Dynasty. It's got to be said, man. They lost the spark, but then got 3-0'd by Dreamers. But at that stage, to be fair to the Seoul Dynasty, we did not know that Dreamers were going to be the powerhouse that were going to make it all the way to the end of the bracket. Sadly, though, ending their run 0-4. Dallas Fuel, I think, mostly impressed throughout the bracket. Yeah, the loss today hurts, but remember, coming into the knockouts, Dallas Fuel were not looking on top of the world at all. They were struggling a lot in the qualifiers. Came through, beat SPG. They lose to Seoul Infernal because, well, we expected that Seoul Infernal were going to be stronger.
Sure.
Beating O2 Blast was not an easy task, and there's a lot to be proud of there, I think, for the Dallas Fuel, given how hyped O2 Blast were coming into this and how close O2 Blast plays Seoul Infernal. When it comes to push and shove on the final day, when it counts, in the BO7 here, and the first to 4 in the final knockout game to actually make mid-season madness, I think we all knew that Seoul Infernal were going to be favored. I just didn't know they were going to be 4-0 favored.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what Zest was saying there in that interview. So, I had a lot of confidence that we were going to be able to win this, but not necessarily in the fashion that we did. But that should, further push that confidence into that international competition once midseason madness does kick off, because we're now only a couple weeks away. So we're on the cusp of finally seeing these teams clash here on Korean soil and seeing who is going to be able to come out on top. Who is the better region? Is it the one that outnumbers us significantly, or will it be our two representatives that are able to take them down? Because given the form right now, I think it's very much up in the air.
You say outnumber us, but as a reminder for next stage in summer, we're going to be adding the contenders teams into the regular season here as well. So the top 4 teams from this knockouts, which are, if memory serves, Dreamers, O2, Panthera, and Pokerface, will be joined by 2 other contenders teams going through the open qualifiers. And that also includes some of the teams that got knocked out here as well. So teams like Simpriza and Rhodes and all that, they can re-qualify through opens if they got enough, and I'm sure they are. So we'll see 2 more contenders teams for a total of 6 contenders teams, 6 Overwatch League teams for the summer stage in the regular season. So we're going to be evening up those numbers slightly, 13 for NA, 12 for APAC, and that will hopefully make things a lot more competitive.
Which means that we'll get 1 slot of playoffs. Anyway, that's going to do it from us here this evening. I had to take a pot shot. I'm sorry, Sean. But that's going to do it from us here. It's been a wonderful first leg of the season. Obviously, we hope to see you guys soon, maybe over at MSM. Who knows? We'll have to just wait and see what happens. But it has been, unfortunately, a very swift day. We're hoping for some closer series. But again, you know, as far as the representatives go,
Yeah.
seeing this dominant fashion from the Infernal, from the Hangzhou Spark, I think that has to strike some fear into those teams from NA that are going to be flying over here to try to best them on that home soil. So we'll see what happens when it does roll around. Of course, NA is going to be coming up later, so make sure you guys tune into that, see who the last MSM representative is going to end up being. And we'll see you next time. Good night.